for more on all this, let's bring in our chief Washington correspondent, Major Garrett. Major, good morning to you. These picks matter because of the ideas people will bring to the White House, also because they're going to be overseeing huge budgets of American taxpayer dollars. But the order of these announcements tell us something, too, about Donald Trump. What does it say to you?
Two words: speed and sequence. Things are moving very rapidly. I would expect more announcements today, possibly Treasury Secretary, possibly Energy Secretary. So there's tremendous speed. There are PowerPoints presented to President-elect Trump. He's like, I don't need PowerPoints. I know what I want to do. Let's just move, move, move. Why do I say the word sequence? Because it's important as we are, as a nation, digesting these moves that, for example, Tom Homan was named the border czar before there was an announcement about DHS secretary or even Stephen Miller going in the White House as deputy chief of staff of policy. Why? Because Tom Homan, everyone knows in the Trump inner circle, will have direct access to the president, and that sequencing, naming him first, makes him more important on border matters than the DHS secretary-to-be, Christine Ohm, or even Stephen Miller. Same thing I would say in the sequencing of announcing Elise Stefanik as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations before naming Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. That's a very odd sequencing. Usually you do it the other way around. UN ambassador, much less important than the Secretary of State. Not for Trump. He wants Elise Stefanik, a staunch defender of Israel in the UN, to not only talk about America First diplomacy, but also have Israel's back. Not just Israel generally, but the Netanyahu government. So speed and sequence really matter.
I never paid attention to sequencing before. Now I will. Major, what does it tell you, the people that he's chosen so far, what does it tell you about the cabinet he wants to build and the administration he intends to run?
So I covered the Trump transition in 2016 going into 2017. And back then, there were two great questions. What do I do, and how should I best do it? Trump didn't have answers to that because he'd never been president before. He knows the answers now. What he wants is loyalty, and he wants direct reporting. He knows the cabinet secretaries have to go through a Senate confirmation process. What he wants, though, is czars or people who have direct report power to him, who he can basically create a straight line of accountability that doesn't run necessarily through that agency's bureaucracy. It goes straight to him. You're going to see that shape many of his appointments. Obviously, there will be cabinet secretaries, but there'll be others who have direct report power to him, and he will try to use that to go around the bureaucracy when and where he can.
All right, Major, we've seen Trump talk about bypassing Senate confirmations with recess appointments. Between that and naming the czars in positions, what does he accomplish with that?
So it's worth pointing out, and I know this is ancient history, but during the Obama administration, congressional Republicans accused then-President Obama, who wanted to use recess powers to fill held positions, of using brazen, unconstitutional powers to do that. Now they're basically saying Trump should do that right away. So there's a disconnect there. Using recess appointments is something that the Supreme Court has basically restrained in a clash during the Obama administration. So there's Supreme Court precedent that will limit President Trump's powers to use recess appointment. But what he's trying to signal to the Senate Republicans and to the nation broadly is he's going to move as rapidly as he can. And if he's challenged in court, he may be set back, but he's going to move as aggressively as he can. And he wants Senate Republicans to get on board and help him as much as they're willing to.
All right, Major, he's moving very quickly. Thank you so much.